everybody. I'm Margarita from The Possible Show. I'm actually on the street that the parade just came down on. I'm in Morrisville, North Carolina at the Veterans Day Parade. I'm here with family, I'm here with children, and we're just enjoying this time. We just want to give a thanks and celebrate our veterans that just came down this path, and we just want to say thank you. But before we begin and just see what's going on here at the parade, tell me, Cruz, what are you up to? What special guests do you have with you?
Thank you so much, Margarita. Right now, I am with U.S. Army veteran Chris Cantrell. He served during the invasion of Panama and also during the Gulf War. Can you start us off with your service during the invasion of Panama? What did you do? What was your role during that time?
Excuse me. I was assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg, which was the home of special operations for the U.S. military at that time. And my unit in particular had been assigned. We had been detailed and practiced the invasion plans to go into Panama in order to oust Noriega, the dictator, was in charge there. Mr. Noriega had committed crimes against the United States and had committed violent acts against U.S. citizens. Basically, we were an armed invasion to take custody or control of the country so that Mr. Noriega could be apprehended.
So your participation during the invasion of Panama was to deliver the troops in Panama?
Yes.
To
Yes.
have Noriega back in the United States, extradited, so that he could serve his time?
Yes. All of us that were involved in that was the main, basically, I guess you could say the main goal.
Right, okay. Now, the Gulf War, what was your role in that, during that period?
The Gulf War was all about Saddam Hussein invading his neighbor country,
Kuwait.
and Kuwait, and the fear was that he was going to try to be seizing all the oil assets in the country or in the region. So they deployed the 82nd Airborne Division along with some of the other expeditionary type units, the Marine Corps expeditionary units, which was known as Operation Desert Shield, to defend Saudi Arabia against any type of invasion from Iraq. In January and February, March of 1991, there was an air war against the Iraqi military and Iraqi regime, and then the ground war commenced. My job during the ground war was I was a forward observer, fire support specialist assigned to 1st Battalion, 505th Parachute Infantry Regiment, which was an infantry unit inside the 82nd Airborne Division. And we air assaulted across the border into Iraq, and basically we were part of the famous Hail Mary play. We were the left hook coming in from out of the desert of Iraq, and we entrapped as much of the Iraqi army as we could in that little corner of Iraq and Kuwait.
What was the hardest thing that you've had to endure from those years?
The training. It was hard, and it was good. It makes you mature in a lot of ways. That's one of the reasons I joined the military, is to find a place that I hadn't found before. But the big thing is it taught you all those inward things like discipline and respect that you need to have yourself. And those are the key things to me that make you successful or not successful as a human.
We have never been able to come across a World War II veteran. They're no longer here.
Yes,
Your father is a World War II veteran.
Yes.
Do you think that he had anything to do with your decision of saying, I'm going to the military?
I think it had a lot of influence. My father was extremely patriotic. He was a USA to the bone. Huge influence, because I would sit there and just absorb the stories he told me. It's an important message to everyone, and listen to what their experience can help form good outlook for the future, because we're constantly repeating history, and these veterans are the ones that are making it.
You talked about whenever the Twin Towers were attacked, how you had the need almost to go back into the military. Can you tell us how you felt at that time?
That was my country being attacked. And I relate that back to kind of like how my dad was when he joined the Navy, after Pearl Harbor was attacked. He was plowing a field with a mule, and some people came by and told him what had happened, told him that they were on their way to go join, and he made sure his mule had water and stuff, and he got on that wagon and rode to go join. And it was that calling, it was that duty to your country, right. And it was personal honor to make sure that you upheld that.
Wow, I feel so honored to be here with you.
Well, thank you.
Having you share that with us. What do you do now? I see you're a sheriff.
I'm in law enforcement now. I've been in law enforcement since 1993, since I got out of the military. I wasn't doing, kind of like when I joined the military, I wasn't feeling I was accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish. And I said, I think I'd like to take up a career in law enforcement. So almost straight out of the military, I went to basic law enforcement training at the academy, and started working here in Sampson County at some of the little police departments that were around back then. And then I went to work for the Clinton Police Department, and I was there with them for about 17, 18 years. And the job came open on the sheriff's office for a school resource officer, and I'm still a sheriff's deputy. I still do everything any other deputy would have to do, and I'm on our SWAT team. But most of my time I spend here with the kids. I have 4 schools that I'm basically responsible for the security of the school, and then I kind of go around and try to keep them as straight as I can.
Wow,
so.
That's awesome. Goodness, I cannot thank you enough for giving us this time and again sharing your experiences with us. To all of our audience, veteran Cantrell, Mr. Cantrell, who served in the invasion of Panama and also the Gulf War, thank you so much for the service, the time that you've given to this country, and just the honor for us to sit with you and talk to you and all the veterans out there. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for this beautiful country. Now back to Margarita.
Cruz, thank you so much for being able to sit down with veteran Chris Cantrell. Amazing story, and I just want to say again, thank you for all of our veterans that were here today. I actually stepped inside from the parade. I'm in this wonderful coffee shop created here by Richard Warren. He actually was a Vietnam War veteran and a helicopter pilot at that. After his service there, he created this coffee shop. You can see right through there it is. And here, it's part of a museum as well. Things that you would never be able to find anywhere else. Awards, photos, actual uniforms of our soldiers. But before we go on, Cruz, I'm going to step back outside and we're going to hear what some citizens had to say about our lovely veterans. Special words, Cruz.
It just helps, it showed me how much respect there is out there for the older generation and the younger generation now entering the military, and how we now need to come in to support them more than ever before. They did not have support back in the day, and that breaks my heart. But I think now that we are educated more on the military and what they do for us and how many people have a military member in their family, we just need to show them the support and love that we can do. They sacrifice their life for us.
I love Veterans Day because it's a great day to celebrate the men and women who have served in our country, and I enjoyed playing in the parade today to honor them as veterans.
Yeah, to thank and honor those who fought for our rights.
I love our veterans, and we are free because we're free.
Thank you for serving the USA, and thank you for keeping us safe.
I think of my husband, both of them, that both were in service and at making our country free for us to live like we live.
It allows me to reflect back on the importance of the founding of our country, and it salutes all those that have served in our armed forces and allowed us to continue the freedoms we have, which we should never take for granted.
Thank you so much, Margarita, for that. Right now, I have the honor to be with U.S. Army veteran Denault Schwartz. Thank you so much for being with us today. He served during the Cold War. Denault, tell us about that. How was your experience?
Well, the Cold War, it was a different era. There wasn't a battlefield per se.
What is the first thing that you do once you're enrolled?
They're going to trade you as a soldier first, and then you'll train for the field that you're going to be working in. And so I attended basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri during the heat wave of 1980, and they sent me right to Texas, where it's even hotter, for my dental training. And by early December, I was in Germany. There was a lot of espionage going on, and everything was suspicious to you in some sense. I didn't see a lot of terrorist activity, but there was some activity from Gaddafi and some of the other leaders back at that time. There was an officers' club that was bombed. Ramstein Air Base was bombed while I was there. But lucky for me, Reagan was he was in charge, and he didn't play. He put Gaddafi in his place pretty quickly, and nobody ever really heard from him for about 30 years until recently. So,
what has been the hardest thing that you've faced, or that you faced when you served?
The hearing injuries that I suffered during training. Did a lot of rifle training and marksmanship training.
You have a constant ringing that never fades.
Right.
It's always there, but there are things that triggers the ringing where it will just explode in volume. What are some things that trigger that ringing?
There's something about the TV that emits something that really will make it just scream sometimes. Another one is mustard.
How loud, when it is triggered, how loud is it?
Well, that's interesting, because it gets so loud that I would swear that if you put your ear to mine, you would hear it. That's how loud it can get. I'm a lucky veteran. That's all I have to deal with.
So that's all he has to deal with.
That's right.
Wow. And none of us deal with anything, or most of us cannot say or can say that we don't deal with what you do, and we're still out here complaining about the smallest things.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things also when people think of veterans, the immediate reaction is combat, battlefield. They're out, or they were out on the battlefield. But you're a veteran who did not go on the battlefield, but you served, and here you are doing great things, and you're dealing with that every single day of your life.
Those disabilities, they come in every form, shape, size. You don't never know who's going to have it. That's right.
What is a memorable moment that you have during your years of service?
The most memorable thing to me was the training. I got to work in S3 and S4, but S3 was really where it was at for me.
What is
S3? It was training, and when you're training soldiers, and you can see the effects of those soldiers, their training, or you see the effects of the leaders and their training under you, when they're producing those results that you can see, that was the most important thing to me. It was the most important thing to me to see that.
Why did you retire?
Well, it was just time to go. It was just one thing after another, and it ended up in a divorce, and I ended up, a single parent, and there were just a lot of challenges. I was talking with one of my colonel's wives online, and I just told her how difficult it was for me to find something I really liked, and she brought up about dental hygiene. Why would I do dental hygiene? And she said, you were a pretty good dental hygienist. And I'm like, she's right. I was pretty happy right then. The following year, I applied for dental hygiene school and got accepted right away. And it wasn't until later that I learned why, that I showed up on the first day, and there were me and 34 other women, but I did not expect that I would be a minority in this field. I had a tough time getting a job. Bounced around a lot. Luckily for me, I ended up here where I'm at now, and I'm a dental hygienist. Yeah.
You love your job, from what I've heard?
Yeah, I do. It's the greatest thing since I was training soldiers.
How would you describe a training?
It was relentless. You were always on your feet, always. You always had a ruck on your back. We had 5 soldiers, 5 slots for air assault school, and all 5 of us came out of there with that badge, out of the dental unit. So
Wow.
it wasn't a give me either.
Did you earn other awards?
Sure, yeah, and you know, whether it's an Army Achievement Medal or Army Commendation Medal, or the Meritorious Service Medal. The meritorious, yeah, it was a very prestigious. One of the highest peacetime awards to have, and yeah, I have more than one of those.
And you still have those?
I still have those.
Wow.
I don't think my kids even realize what I have there with those.
You know, just listening to that, you know, that your children don't even know about this, it really breaks my heart because, you know, this, for example, the Cold War, that was something that we learned in history class, or at least I learned in history class when I was in high school. But here I am now talking to someone who served during those years. From the team and myself, thank you so much for all the veterans who served. I salute you. Thank you so much for defending this country, fighting for this country, and like I said previously, allowing us to have the freedom that we have today. And before we go, I do want to say Mr. Schwartz brought in and gave me a green bulb. I think this is something new. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's a movement, or a movement called Green Light a Vet, and it's just anybody. What they're doing is promoting the green light bulb. Anybody that shines a green light bulb, or whether on their porch or in their house, and it's just showing support for the veterans.
Thank you so much, Mr. Schwartz. I really appreciate your time.
I had a great time.
Now, your time in service. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thanks to all the vets.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome. And now we'll take it back to Margarita to see what she's up to along with everyone in the festival. Thank you so much. Margarita?
Hey Cruz, thank you so much for being able to share that inspirational story. I actually found some veterans of my own here at the Veterans Day Parade in Morrisville, North Carolina. Here I have with me
Arthur Rogers, World War II.
Awesome.
Pat Morgan, Korean War.
Pat Morgan, Korean War Crews. Before we let the audience go, just want to give one more shout out to all of our veterans here today. It was a wonderful Veterans Day Parade, and here are some more veterans.
We are the possible!
We are the possible.
We are the possible.
We are the possible.
And Santana, don't you agree? We are the possible.